Stampeders in town in Calgary, dominant at home at 3-0, but a 500 team on the road, Matty.
Yeah, you know, and what's kind of caught my interest here lately is this wind. It's picking up, so special teams is going to be a big factor, and we got two of the best kickers in the league in Liram Hajrullahu and Rene Paredes, and possibly one of the best putters, if not the best putter in the league, in Rob Maver. So I think those guys can factor in big time with the way this wind's kicking up, Milt.
And Rod, you alluded to this earlier. The coaches only have one challenge. When do you use that challenge?
Right.
Yes.
Do you waste it early or do you save it for later on in the game? The strategy of the game changes now because those coaches knew if they were successful in those challenges before, they would get another. Now you have one. That's it. That's all you have. You have to be smart when you use that challenge.
Well, we saw Ricky Ray every game over 300 yards passing. That Calgary defense, so allowing only 11 points in their last two games. Getting set for kickoff first, though, our national anthem.
Go down, clap to the top, shout it what's up, go down. Go down, go down. Go down, go down. Clap to the top, shout it what's up, go down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem. Here to sing the national anthem, please welcome Jennifer Stripe.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons' command, se porter les pays, il se porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Hello, Canada, and welcome to the great city of Toronto. The Brick presents Thursday night football. The Calgary Stampeders 4-1-1. The Toronto Argonauts 3-3. The wind is blowing off the lake here tonight. That could be a factor in this one. It is a red, white, and blue Thursday night tonight.
Jerome Messam from the Greater Toronto area is coming home. Leads the Canadian Football League in rushing. 224 of those yards coming in his last two outings. And if they're going to shut him down, it's going to be up to the Toronto Argonauts middle linebacker, emotional leader, and leading tackler, Bear Woods.
Mark Trestman's team, win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. 3-3 coming off a loss against Saskatchewan last week. First season as the head coach. Second season as head coach of the Stampeders. Last year's coach of the year, Dave Dickinson, his team stomping the Hamilton Tiger Cats 60-1 5 days ago. Rene Paredes kicks it off. Away we go at BMO. Martise Jackson slides through up near the 37-yard line, and the 37-year-old Ricky Ray, on a record-setting pace, brings his offense on the field.
Ricky Ray, you heard the boys talk about it in the pregame, piling up the yards and maybe like to find the end zone a little bit more, but regardless, for Ricky Ray, it seems like with every game comes a new milestone in his career.
Blue left West, 95.
his 207th career start, 14-20 lifetime against Calgary. He's going to hand it off to start this game. Brandon Whitaker returns to the Toronto lineup. First time since week 5.
Well, still battling some injuries in that receiving core. Armonte Edwards out this week. You'll see Khalil Payton, Malcolm Williams in that receiving core as well. Along the offensive line, Sean McEwen in his second year has become one of the top centers in the Canadian Football League.
Argos 8th in the CFL on second down conversions. There was a little jumpiness at the line. We'll see if the stamps were drawn. Kim Murphy is our referee tonight.
Procedure, Toronto, number 54. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Chris Van Zyl, longtime Argo, former McMaster product. Procedure call here. Sends the Argos back on second down and throwing down for Ricky Ray.
Well, not a surprise with some of the names on that Calgary defensive front to see the O-line be a little jumpy.
Stamps load the box, rush 4. Ray now stretches it out deep and was looking deep, but unable to run underneath it. Was S.J. Green downfield.
Well, this has been one of the changes we've seen in the evolution of the Toronto Argonauts offense this season has been their willingness to go deep, and particularly to do so right out of the gate.
A year ago, so different. Ray was hurt. They had a number of players at quarterback. Really no continuity for the Argos. Lirim Hajrullahu. Argos elected on the coin toss to take the ball first and not defer. And the wind could be a huge factor here tonight. Roy Finch fumbled the football, and Toronto has it.
Yeah, it looked like Cameron Walker was the man who pounced on that loose rock.
Roy Finch, who was a game changer last week against Hamilton, a punt return touchdown. The Argos forced the fumble on their special team coverage. And indeed, they have the football right back.
Well, it was as Finch tried to cut back. Matt Webster got a hand on that ball. Cam Walker, backup defensive end out of Guelph, came up with the recovery.
First and 10 now. Ricky Ray from the 32. Off the edge come the Stamps. Ray fires into traffic, pinpoint. Jeff Fuller hauling it in right near the first down marker. Looks like they'll move the sticks, and they will. The Argos creep closer to the red zone inside the 20-yard line. They've been last in the CFL so far this season from that area.
Nice combination of routes with S.J. Green out in the flat. That helps spread the defense, pull them sideline to sideline, open up a little bit wider window for Jeff Fuller working back to the football.
Just 7 for 21 from the red zone. Ray, sideline. And there he goes to his new security blanket, the most targeted receiver in the CFL, S.J. Green.
Now we'll take a quick look at this Calgary defense. Lots said about the pass rush supplied by Charleston Hughes. Probably not enough said about Micah Johnson, his push on the inside. And that linebacking core, former Edmonton Eskimo. Joe Burnett has done a terrific job at the nickel linebacker spot. Shaq Richardson, the halfback spot, filling in for Brandon Smith, came up with one of the biggest plays in Calgary's win last week, pick 6.
Cody Fajardo in, short yardage quarterback. Backup QB out of Nevada. And they'll move the sticks, bring the other personnel back on the field, and go almost first and goal here.
Get a good look from above at that surge from the offensive line. Fajardo finds that soft spot on the right side.
Two high-powered offenses here tonight. Number 1 and 2 in net offense. Argos trying to get this to the end zone. Ray again looks to air it out. Now in trouble, throws it away. Khalil Payton in the area, but Ricky Ray really just got rid of that. So it'll be second down and 10. They could get a fresh set of downs if they get it to the 1, but they're looking end zone here.
Get a look Look at the pressure from that defensive line led by Micah Johnson. That inside push from the defensive tackle is so valuable. We think all the time about the defensive ends getting the pass rush, but if you've got the push up the middle, it prevents the quarterback from stepping up.
Ray steps in, goes end zone, touchdown! S.J. Green with another here in his first season as an Argo. These two veterans have created some magic, have they not?
They certainly have, and both talked about it. S.J. Green didn't see a lot of action in the preseason. Coming back from a knee injury, eased his way through training camp. I know both after watching each other, admiring each other's work from afar over the years, we're pretty excited to have their first connection in week 1.
Liram Hajrullahu boots it through. The Argos have a lead early on thanks to a turnover on a special teams fumble. Toronto 7-zip on Thursday Night Football in the 6. 45th career touchdown in the Canadian Football League.
And the Argos with a terrific job capitalizing on the turnover after Roy Finch fumbled on his first touch of the ball game.
Line drive shot back down to Finch. Grabs that, finds the seam, zigs and zags up near the 50, waits for a block, and then is hauled down once more.
How's that for a little bit of redemption for Roy Finch and that special teams unit? Great bounce back. This is one you talked about, the line drive kick, Rod. The risk of the line drive kick is that the return is coming back at you before guys really have a chance to settle into their lanes and break down. They're running full speed towards the returner. He's coming back at them already, and Roy Finch took full advantage.
Nakasoniaka had the special teams tackle, saved a few more yards. There's the bust from Brampton. Comes back to the station tonight near his hometown, Jerome Messam. 6 feet 3 inches, 250 pounds of nasty.
Here it is. Nice job by the offensive line. Brad Erdus did a terrific job sustaining his block at the point of attack. Watch that right guard locked on.
So after Finch's return, Messam with the first down. Bo Levi Mitchell goes to the air, looks Marquay McDaniel's way and decides to flutter it out of bounds. Good coverage on that corner.
Well, the play action provided a little bit of time, but as you said, the coverage took it away. They're going to need good coverage tonight if they're going to shut down the likes of Mark and Michelle, coming off a 180-yard performance as he came on in relief of an injured Kamar Jordan. Along that offensive line, one of the veterans, Dan Fader-Kyle, a one-time Toronto Argonaut draft pick way back in 2006.
Second down for the Stamps. Again, no Kamar Jordan this week. And into coverage for Marquay McDaniel. A penalty flag flies. Cassius Vaughn down there argues the call. It's going to be interesting tonight now that there's only one challenge flag.
Number 26. Point of foul, automatic first down.
When do you hold your flag? When do you throw your flag now? And of course, that was instituted yesterday in the CFL. Here is a look.
Yeah, you saw that early tug slowing him down.
And a couple of tugs.
You know, I mean, much of the way down the field, it just looks like hand fighting, but certainly enough done early to slow down the receiver.
So first and goal, and Mark Trestman is actually going to use his challenge early on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure from the angle we saw. It's tough to say exactly when the ball is in the air, isolated on that receiver. Now, you may think you don't want to use the challenge flag this early.
Toronto was challenging the previous play of called defensive pass interference. We'll review the play.
We'll take it to CFL Command, and we'll get a verdict when we come back to BMO Field in Toronto. Cassius Vaughn, not sure if this is going to be overturned. The call on the field, interference. Mark Trestman throwing the challenge flag again. Only one video challenge.
The ruling on the field stands. Pass interference. Toronto, number 26.
So Mark Trestman now out of challenges tonight.
Toronto has charged their first team timeout.
You'll see the key to this being called, and it comes just before the ball arrives. Watch the left arm of Cassius Vaughn. It'll be later in the route, and he's going to come underneath and hook Markway McDaniel's inside arm, his right arm, right there. As the ball is in the air, he hooks underneath that arm, slows him down, doesn't let him reach with both hands.
Stamps looking to respond. And an overthrow to McDaniel. Markway McDaniel in that blowout win last week. Almost hard to believe. No catches last week. Stopped a streak at 76 straight games. Now keep in mind that a lot of the receivers were shut down in the second half.
Yeah, a number of veteran starters. But it looked like McDaniel there was uncertain as to the whereabouts of the other receiver, if that ball was even intended for him, by the way he kind of slowed down and looked around.
Handed off to Messam. No doubt about it. Jerome Messam back home. And back in his home, the end zone. Rene Paredes will come out to tie this up.
Well, he's got his personal cheering section. Here, watch the job by the left side of the offensive line. Spencer Wilson, Shane Bergman, Jerome Messam in standing up.
Picking up where he left off last week. Had the hat trick. And so, in many ways, Roy Finch responsible for all the scoring so far. Coughed up a fumble, then had a great return, some redemption. And Jerome Messam finishes it off. Two high-powered offenses tonight. Already 7-7. Thursday Night Football on TSN is presented by The Brick. Saving you more. Jerome Messam grew up not far from here, just northwest of downtown Toronto. He's got his family and friends in the crowd tonight. I'm sure his baby girl is around as well, Jaya. And Messam getting into it with some of the crowd. Hail Brampton, Ontario. Artis Jackson contained near the 30-yard line. Ricky Ray, already a touchdown pass here tonight, thanks to a turnover that was induced by his special teams. And so here he is back at it tonight. We talked about his record-setting pace. Could be all-time this year, the way he has been going.
Well, it's remarkable to think for all that Ricky Ray has accomplished over the course of his career, which began back in 2002. For him, the one thing he has never done, win an MOP award. He's got the numbers to support that campaign this season.
Brandon Whitaker scampers out, gets a fresh set of downs, darts for 10, maybe a little more.
A nice kind of key breaker for the Toronto Argonauts. Clearly a pass-first team, but you want to keep that front, particularly the likes of Charleston Hughes and Micah Johnson. Want to keep them honest, make them honor that run game.
Stamp showing blitz. Ricky Ray sees that, changes the play up. Little touch pass, boundary side, and S.J. Green usually wins that jump ball. Not this time with Tommy Campbell.
Well, thus the trend as receivers have gotten bigger. Want that bigger guy out on the corner. That's Tommy Campbell at 6'3", a guy who can actually match up physically with S.J. Green in this situation. They got man coverage. S.J.'s the guy they like in that situation as Ricky Ray puts it up. But Tommy Campbell is up to the challenge.
Throwing down again. Stamps bring 4. Look out. Ricky Ray's going down. Brian Hall, former Argo and Cat, has his first sack of the season. Almost untouched. And loaded on Ricky Ray.
Well, Brian Hall, such a great depth guy to add into that D-line rotation. Veteran guy has been a productive starter in his previous CFL stops.
Hairelahu. Spiraling kick back to Roy Finch. Takes a look, a little head shake again, and Roy Finch with another nice return. The punt return leader in the CFL up near the 47-yard line. A 23-yard return on a 57-yard kick. Speaking of record setters, quite a pace again for Bo Levi Mitchell. 10 years younger than Ricky Ray, but just as cool. Six minutes to go, opening quarter. Dave Dickinson's team responds 7-7. Argos and Stamps. Let's go to the sideline. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
You talk about responding, Rod. Well, Dave Dickinson wanted to see response from his team, and you wouldn't really know it given that they had a 59-point win last week against the Hamilton Tire Cats. But you talk to Shaq Richardson, and he talks about the fraternity inside the Calgary Stampeders locker room, that it's not about an individual, it's about the collective and how that's really bleeding into meetings and obviously on practice. And it's something that they say we understand, and in a game like this, we know we can go ahead and focus. But that doesn't necessarily mean the individual can't have an effect on the game. Watch Shaq Richardson and Tommy Campbell against S.J. Green. This might be about the team, but those two individuals have been jawing with S.J. Green, and they've got a matchup in their sights, guys.
Yeah, it started early. Thanks, Matt. First and 10, Bo Levi Mitchell, second series with the football. Slinging it out for Marquay McDaniel. First catch tonight, first catch in 2 weeks. And might see a little more Marquay McDaniel, particularly as a possession guy. He was the second down guy. Kamar Jordan kind of took that role over this season.
Yeah, Kamar Jordan had been the most targeted Calgary Stampeder receiver so far in 2017. Went down with a lower body injury last week. But as demonstrated, this is a team that has the depth to withstand that as the rest of the receiving core steps up. A little more action for Mark and Michelle, who made the most of it last week, putting up a $180 through the air.
Two M&M boys. There's Jermaine Gabriel, free safety. This game features kind of an oddity. Two Canadian free safeties against each other in this game, and Jermaine Gabriel and Tunda Adeleke. Kind of working on his shoulder a little bit here. There is Quadarius Ford, the guy who operates and orchestrates the defense, former Saskatchewan Roughrider head coach, Corey Chamberlain.
Yeah, Corey Chamberlain has very quickly earned the respect and admiration of his defensive players here in Toronto. Great approach guy who demands a lot, but the players really feel he's done a terrific job of putting his guys in the best possible positions to succeed here.
So Matt Webster, former Queens grad, is now the free safety. Messam on 2nd and 1, carries about 4 Argos with him. Great feature in the pregame show, talking about Jerome Messam and how that unstoppable force is so difficult to bring down.
Well, he gets going downhill, and he is so unique. Deceptive speed. I'm going to call him a blazer, but the guy who plays sometimes close to 260 pounds, he shouldn't move like that.
Lamar Durant dropped perfectly in, and he wanted to lateral that back. He was thinking of giving it back to Marquay McDaniel. Lamar Durant is nicked up, it looks like, holding that knee as Bo Levi Mitchell had him isolated and threw a perfect strike.
Well, Durant may have been tangled up awkwardly there as he was fighting for extra yards. Third-year receiver out of Simon Fraser. Lined up out wide here. Zone coverage, you see the corner, Kadarius Ford drops way off, leaving plenty of room for Bo Levi Mitchell to lay that one in.
Ford draws in this week with Johnny Sears out of the lineup. Johnny Sears is injured. There was some talk, speculation this week he might be out after failing to make a tackle, a touch tackle against Saskatchewan, but Mark Trestman says that's not the case. In fact, Johnny Sears is one of his hardest working players. Just nicked up this week. Try to get a report on Lamar Durant. 1st and 10. Cluster formation. Pitch here to Finch out of the backfield. Troy Davis in his second CFL start. Got him by the ankle tops.
Yeah, Davis, guy the Argos are counting on to help fill the void left by the injury to Victor Butler, who'd been so terrific out of the gate. As fight hard across the face. The receiver, Marquay McDaniel, looking for the crack block, meaning he's trying to pin that defensive end inside, give Roy Finch the edge. But Davis did a nice job fighting outside.
Here comes the blitz. There goes the ball. Marquay McDaniel ducks, has a first down and down the sideline. And what a play by the vet, Marquay McDaniel. Cassius Vaughn bit.
This is just a veteran guy knowing the tendency of defenders in this situation. You're throwing out to the flat. Defenders are going to defend inside out, which means on an outside route like that, they're flying full speed, trying to catch up, trying to close ground here, which creates this exact situation that they're going to overrun you. They're not going to be able to redirect in time. Well played by McDaniel.
1st and goal. Bo is sacked. First sack by the Argos tonight, really a touch sack. Darryl Wadd was in there. Sean Lemon. See who they give credit.
Yeah, I think Dylan Wynn was the first man in.
Looked like Bo may have slipped a little bit as well.
Coming from the right side of your screen, had a nice rip move on the guard, Erdos. Get into the backfield and make the play. Wynn getting an opportunity after an early season injury to Ken Bishop.
2nd down and goal now after the loss and the first sack by the Argos. Bo over the top to Messam. And Messam is down near the 10-yard line and sandwiched there.
Well, and you see the continuing trend, and this has been the key for Jerome Messam throughout his career. Very rarely is the first tackler going to bring him down. You know, we've talked a little bit about him being the leading rusher in the league. One of the stats that has stood out to me in the early part of the season, of course, coming from our good buddy Derek Taylor, talked about Jerome Messam being hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any other running back in the league, yet here he is leading the league in rushing. And now the last couple weeks, it seems the offensive line has really gotten going. Fewer of those hits coming early in his runs, and you see the effect that's had on his production.
There have been tackling dummies around the league that have been hit less than Jerome Messam. Rene Paredes gives the Stamps the lead with a minute 49 to go in the first quarter. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Turned out to be a nice night here. Lights are on now. Sun is setting at BMO Field. The Argos got on the board first, but the Calgary Stampeders coming off a 59-point slaughter of the Hamilton Tiger Cats last week. Continuing to roll up some offense here tonight.
Well, they sure are. And one of the things you want to be aware of when you're Toronto operating offensively is you need to be very aware of ball control, ball possession. One of the things for Calgary, and the key to it, of course, is Messam, 250-plus pounds, and and the way that he can wear down a defense, but you don't want to let Mitchell in that offense on the field, dominating the time of possession, wearing down your defense early in the ball game. So there's a need here for the Argos, even early on, to put together sustained drives so they don't put their defense at a disadvantage.
Well, this game so far has lived up to the offensive trends that both teams have accumulated so far this season. They throw up big yardage. Calgary 420 yards per game. The Argos 402, and we've seen it already here tonight. We'll see if it will continue. Martese Jackson high stepping. Penalty flag thrown back at the 42-yard line, just past the 30-yard line on the return.
On the return, holding, number 41, Toronto. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So a longer field, that return negated.
Nakas Onyeka, the rookie out of Wilfrid Laurier. The man flagged on the play. Been one of the special teams leaders for the Argos here early in his rookie year.
Argos really pinned back here. They'll start the 13-yard line. There's Alex Singleton. His mom, born in Toronto. Guy who was able to get Canadian citizenship. Operates as a national. He's become a future star in this game. There's Anthony Coombs enjoying a breakout season. His first touch of the night. It's a first down.
25 catches in his last 3 outings for Anthony Coombs as his role broadens. Couple injuries, of course, in the receiving core. Armonte Edwards is out this week after getting dinged in Regina. Devere Posey has been out for a couple of weeks, but Coombs, the 4th-year man, takes on a larger role.
See more of him tonight. We'll see him right now. Coombs stalking the backfield now. Micah Johnson brings him down. In a conversation yesterday with Anthony Coombs, it was interesting to hear how he got a lot of advice, as you can see how he has been trending this year. A lot of advice back at the Grey Cup in his hometown in Winnipeg when he bumped into S.J. Green.
Yeah, that was the first time he met S.J. Green. Kind of talked about things coming full circle as they're now teammates. You see the way his production has been boosted.
Ray into traffic. Little bump with the catch by Khalil Payton, the former Ottawa Red Black, getting back in the lineup this week.
Yeah, a guy who first broke into the Canadian Football League with these very Calgary Stampeders. Team that's always had some depth in their linebacker spots. Payton coming from deep in that backfield, using his waggle well. Great concentration on the ball as Jamar Wall was right there on the play.
Barring penalty, should be the final play of this opening quarter. Loads of offense here so far. Look out, Ricky Ray has to step up, slinging it out. James Wilder Jr. There is a penalty in the backfield. Looks like it's going against the Argos. Ricky Ray given a little extra protection.
Number 19. It's a 10-yard penalty. Remains first down. One more play remaining.
S.J. Green with the hold.
Well, S.J. Green is called into the protection scheme. He's blocking on the backside. You're going to see Joe Burnett, number 24, the linebacker, off the edge. The challenge for S.J. Green, it's difficult, particularly for guys that don't pass protect that often, to be aware of where the launch point is, making sure you've got the right body position. He was a little off there, and Joe Burnett took advantage.
Argos already 4 penalties for 56 yards. There goes Wilder. Up to the initial line of scrimmage on 1st and 20. That is the final play. Pretty entertaining first quarter so far here tonight. East meets West again. Near the lakeshore, BMO Field. 10-7 Stampeders as Thursday night football continues. Different records coming in, but same numbers after one quarter, essentially. 3 points separating the Stamps and the Argos. Statistically, almost a wash right now. The difference, that turnover and the points off turnovers. We were chatting about Anthony Coombs and how opportunity has presented itself. Really, the arrival of Anthony Coombs, the former Manitoba Bison. And S.J. Green was talking yesterday about how never take a route off because it's a two-down league and how there's a sense of urgency on every play.
Yeah, the value. You've got to earn the trust of your quarterback because every throw, every target is so valuable when essentially you've only got 2 offensive plays to stay on the field and keep yourself on that field. But Anthony Coombs, you have to admire his development. This is a guy who was a running back in university. He wasn't a receiver, but he was chosen 3rd overall in 2014, considered the best skill player in that draft class.
Ray has to pull it back. Still on his feet, throws, and somehow he finds his release valve.
I think by the time he finally threw that football, I think even Ricky Ray was surprised that he was still standing. There's not a lot of movement from the spot that he's on as he somehow manages to avoid 2 would-be tacklers. Couple of spins to produce a 360, all standing on the same spot to dodge Charleston Hughes and Micah Johnson before finding S.J. Green for the first down.
Both of these teams 1 and 2 in pressures and sacks in the CFL. There's Wilder, who gets some touches as well, and little extracurricular activity afterwards on the far side. William Campbell was into it. So it'll be 2nd down.
Now a 2nd and long situation created here by the Stamps run defense, led by that guy Alex Singleton.
Well, it's been S.J. Green time on 2nd down. Let's see what Ricky Ray conjures up here. Moves the pocket. Finds Coombs, Anthony Coombs, and Alex Singleton, Stampeder tackle leader, bringing him down. Chatted with Alex last week about his number 49. He said, hey, they just gave it to him, but I said, do you know that the border, the 49th parallel separates the United States and Canada? He is a hybrid. He says he likes it.
You're seeing Charleston Hughes come on that loop all the way to the inside. Great help on the blitz pickup by the running back, James Wilder, to find them. They're going to need that. They're going to keep Charleston Hughes off that stats sheet tonight.
They will be short, and Hiralahu will try to angle this. Wind really swirling here tonight. This looks like a good kick. But look at Roy Finch. Another head shake. Another head shake. And Roy Finch is not going to be caught. He has done it again.
That's how we play.
Spectacular return from Roy Finch. A horse running wild.
I've said it before, and I can't emphasize it enough. What makes Roy Finch so successful as a returner is that he doesn't spend a lot of time dancing. He's buried coffin corner here. Look how quickly he gets north-south. There's one move, but as soon as he sees an opportunity to turn up, he takes it. He could have tried to outrun Troy Davis to the sideline, but why do that? I can threaten him outside, turn north-south. The guy's always going to try to fight for contain, take the inside lane, get it going up the field.
Hey, boy! Hey,
103 yards of pure beauty from Roy Finch. 2nd straight week. He does it. He did it in the 2nd quarter and changed the game against Hamilton last week. This week against Toronto. You cannot catch a ghost. The speed demon strikes again. 25-year-old Roy Finch, the former Oklahoma Sooner. Another punt return touchdown back-to-back weeks.
I love all my family in North Carolina, all my family in Maryland. Man, we do this for God, man. Without God, none of this is possible. Man.
2nd longest punt return for touchdown in CFL in Calgary history. Behind Jesse Branch back in 1964. 5 yards. Now the Argos trying to answer that. Cam McDaniel, nice return, but nothing like this. Roy Finch did this late first quarter a week ago. Watch the head.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrific job. Just with the quick jukes and then puts a foot in the ground and turns it north-south. Every time. That was last week against Hamilton. And here, looking for a seam, threaten, contain. As soon as he gets Troy Davis to bite outside, turns it up.
So Finch was the igniter a week ago. Made the score 9-0 early on. And after that, the Stamps really took off. Right now, it's up to the Argos on their home turf to answer this. Get some momentum back. Can they? Will they? Out of the backfield's Brandon Whitaker. By the way, the Stampeders scored 4 different ways last week. Virtually every way you can score on a football field, and Roy Finch with the punt return. All they missed was the kickoff return.
A remarkable performance for the Stampeders, and yeah, it's one of those perfect storms where you have one team playing well, another team just having one of those days. Nobody in this league is 59 points better than anybody else, but sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Isn't this guy tired yet? Walker brings him down. So Roy Finch, who fumbled the first time he touched the ball tonight, has certainly made up for it. What do you think, partner? Well, a night to honor our great heroes. Appreciation night. Many of the members of the armed forces here tonight, and with more on that and the upcoming Invictus Games, let's go down to Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, Rod. I'm beside retired Corporal Phil Badani. Corporal, thank you for your service, first of all. After everything that men and women in the service have sacrificed, how important is an event like the Invictus Games? Well, it just goes to the soldiers, especially if you get wounded and injured. It's a feeling of being left out, left behind, because you did your time, you got injured, and sometimes you get, when you get released, because you're medically released, you felt left behind. And some people get, they go in their basements, get on their computers, they become social media warriors, and they hide, and they don't get out. And the great thing about Invictus is getting retired soldiers and injured vets, get them out, get them active, get them back into out of their basements, and get them active physically with their families and in sports, instead of staying behind and closing the doors and being shut-ins. In terms of being active, you're going to be in indoor rowing and wheelchair rugby. What's your training like as an athlete?
And wheelchair tennis.
And wheelchair tennis.
It's been pretty good. So far, I've been doing mostly the rowing, getting my cardio up, and for rowing that 5 times a week, and putting in, since I can't practice rugby, but with the wheelchair, taking the wheelchair up the streets around Barrie, doing the tennis courts with my son, trying to get the practice of it. But August is now, so I'm doubling up my workouts twice a day, 6 times a week.
We'll see you in September. Thank you, Corporal. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Corporal. Look forward to seeing you at the Invictus Games in Toronto in September. Initiative that Prince Harry, of course, is behind. It's going to be very exciting in this area. And the Invictus Games roll around. Andrew Buckley back on the field. The short yardage guy looked like... He was able to get that first down.
Getting some tips there from offensive line coach Pat Delmonico.
Argos defense pushed to the limit here tonight. Bo Levi Mitchell pulls the trigger. Oh, it should have been picked off, and Cassius Vaughn has been around the football tonight, but another suboptimal play.
Well, there was a little bit of heat on this one from Bo Levi Mitchell, looking for Marquay McDaniel coming across the middle. He's unable to squeeze it. Looked like a golden opportunity for Cassius Vaughn. Good drop deep middle on the play.
Vaughn, who already has a pick. Argos rush 5. Flag down. Zipping it in with some pepper was Bo Levi Mitchell. There's a flag down. Marquay McDaniel, the target once more, up near the Calgary 50-yard line.
Offside, Calgary, number 89. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Tavares Daniels, last year's Rookie of the Year, just has not really gotten into the flow for the Stampeders so far this year.
You see Daniels, he's the number 2 receiver in the slot here, farthest man on the hash mark. Just out a little early on that waggle, so that's going to move it back 5 yards. And do it again.
Mitchell looking out now, and he goes down. The Argos, Jeff Finley was able to get to him. Finley, who had no sacks as a member of the Montreal Alouettes, comes to Toronto and now has 3.
And here you'll see Finley from his defensive tackle spot. Injury to Cleon Lang has opened the door, giving him that opportunity to play. Kind of a delayed twist there. Gets him to quarterback Mitchell.
Rob Maber. First punt of the night for him. Jackson near sideline, and Martese Jackson looking over at what Roy Finch, and you know that returners, there's a little gamesmanship going on here tonight. We've already had one return. We might have another. Ricky Ray, record pace, needs to get his offense in gear. Down 10 right now in their house at BMO Field. 5 against 5-0. All tomorrow night, Friday night football. Thursday night in Toronto tonight. Ricky Ray pulls it back, and it's picked off. Jameer Thurman getting some blocks here. Thurman still on his feet, can't be brought down till he gets to the 34-yard line. Jameer Thurman, who's played a lot of specials this year, comes into the lineup with the injury to Malik Harris, and he's got his first CFL interception.
Well, Jameer Thurman does a nice job getting underneath the route here. We talked about Anthony Coombs and those 25 catches over the last 3 games. He's the outlet guy, the slot. As you're preparing for this game as Calgary Stampeders, you recognize that's a guy we've got to take away. Jameer Thurman recognizes he's got to get deep, get underneath those kind of routes. When he takes his zone drop, gets it done, comes up with a big play here.
Fake reverse to Messam. And Jerome Messam dropped it on the carpet, but was able to pick it back up. Almost 7 yards on that gain. And almost fumbled the football.
And there's the punch out right there. See the awareness of the veteran Rico Murray. Going for the rock all the way.
Argos have to be careful here. Sure, shades of last week watching Hamilton. Stampeders stormed away in the second quarter. Bo again. Backfield this time to Tavares Daniels. Gets pummeled near the sideline. But right at that first down marker, and looks like they'll measure this up.
This is a nice job in space by the halfback, Brandon Harris. Working on Tavares Daniels. Breaks down, keeps his leverage.
So it looks like they are short by less than a half yard. So it's Andrew Buckley time again, and Buckley came into the game last week in the second half. All he did was throw 10 for 10, the former University of Calgary Dino. And his first CFL touchdown pass. He won't be throwing here. Buckley's been predominantly a short yardage guy. In fact, was brought on this field, remember, less than 300 days ago. Try to help Calgary win the Grey Cup. Didn't happen. Argos loaded up. Buckley easily plunges through. Do you think the Calgary Stampeders this week were even talking about it, or is that yesterday's, is that last year's news, what happened on this field against the Ottawa Red Blacks?
Well, there has to be an awareness, as you'll see Andrew Buckley here get that first down. You know, Pat Delmonico, offensive line coach, told him last time, you got to get over that guard. You didn't get far enough over last time. This time he made sure he got all the way behind that guard, Brad Erdos, to the bubble, find that soft spot on the defensive line. But for the Stampeders, it's about one game at a time in 2017. You can't relive the past.
Jerome Messam. Unstoppable force meets immovable object. The Bear wins this time.
Well, the Bear is going to be a key if they're going to keep Messam from running wild in this ball game.
Hammer and nail.
Credit the guys up front on that Argo defensive line. As you saw, they kept the blockers off Bear Woods, kept him free to make that play.
Messam in the backfield again with Mitchell. Likely a throwing down this time. Argos show blitz. Here it comes. Bow throws. Marquay McDaniel catches Vaughn. The ball hawk again will hold the Stamps this time, and the best they could do is a field goal attempt for Rene Paredes.
Argos setting the heat. You know the ball's going to come out early. Six-man rush. Picked up well. Ball's out on time, but a terrific tackle. Great position from Cassius Vaughn, the nickel linebacker.
Paredes. 16 of 18 on the season. This is really a chip shot. Pours it through. Souvenir in the far stands. Stampeders up their lead to 13, 20-7. Counted down to the 3-minute warning. An incumbent now on the Argos, trying to find some points, get some momentum before halftime.
Well, pretty smooth operation there. Long snapper to holder to kicker. Rene Paredes, of course, is the guy who gets the stats, but his accuracy doesn't come about without the efforts of the other two guys in that operation.
Good vibe in the building again tonight. Thursday night football, kicking off week 7. Argos, by the way, have lost 6 straight to Calgary. Brandon Whitaker back to the initial line of scrimmage, maybe got one. Coming up at halftime, Rod Smith, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel in the house tonight. Our GMC professional grade playbook, narrated by Henry Burris, on how the punter flips the field. Got 2 good ones here tonight. Ray stretching it out. Khalil Payton. Big play. Biggest play for the Argos offensively so far here tonight. Payton signals first down.
You talk about flipping the field. Ricky Ray and Khalil Payton did it right there. Great connection. Big play for the Argos to get into Stampeder territory.
Stamps have scored 20 unanswered after the Argos opened scoring. Toronto trying to get on the board before the half. This will help. 3-minute warning on the field.
Stamps by 13, just under 3 minutes until halftime. Coming up, the panel with some thoughts on the explosive Roy Finch, on Jerome Messam, and also the importance of protecting Ricky Ray, and also protecting the players too. Let's go back to Rod and Dwayne.
All right, thank you. Matt Dunnigan's glowing tonight. God, is he looking sharp. The boys are looking great. We'll hear from them at the half. Ray fires. S.J. Green near the first down marker, had to get to the 35. See where they spot it. Looks like they'll spot it a yard shy. Plenty of time to work with before the half. We'll bring out the big boys here. Some meat now.
Yeah, get that fresh set of downs. That is the mission.
Cody Fajardo also comes in. He's the Andrew Buckley of the Argos. Eel goes over that right guard and got a little pushback, but it looks like he'll have enough progress. Yeah, they'll mark it right at the 35. That will move the sticks. Fajardo.
Whole lot of contact in those trenches all along that line.
First and 10 from that 35. Ray, quick one again, and unable to lay out was the former Stampeder, Jeff Fuller. Played with the Stamps from 2013 to 15. Played one game with Saskatchewan last year.
Yeah, Jeff Fuller is a guy who has always had these flashes of brilliance. His biggest challenge has just been staying healthy for an extended period.
Second down time. Ray over the top, and it is a first down for Anthony Coombs again.
I'm going back to that conversation with Anthony Coombs yesterday. It just seems like he's really starting to now feel comfortable and confident as a receiver. It's a big transition to go from being a running back where you're getting handed the rock in the backfield. You may not have a full grasp of things like reading coverages, understanding route combinations, and so on. And so it has been a learning experience for him through his first few years in the league.
They fake the counter and give it to Brandon Whitaker. Anthony Coombs is a likable young man, and you think about how tough it was for him in his first season. Of course, had the shoulder injury. I loved what he said yesterday when he said, "Hey, I'm not a project anymore. It's on me."
That's right. He's learned his lessons. Veteran guy. Still looks like such a young kid. He was only 21 when he came in the league. He was one of the younger guys in that 2014 draft class, but in his fourth year, so he's now one of the veteran guys here. And there's been some continuity for him, although Mark Trestman is new here as the head coach in Toronto. Scott Milanovich, the previous head coach, had worked under Trestman. Very similar elements, the concepts offensively for him. So there has been continuity in that regard in terms of the learning curve for Coombs. But he is now emerging in his fourth year as a guy in the early part of the season, albeit in that conversation as one of the most outstanding Canadian candidates in this league. Of course, we're seeing another guy opposite him tonight in Alex Singleton.
Sean McEwen, the center, runs to the sideline, so an adjustment on the O-line now. Anthony Coombs also talked about Chad Owens here and how much he learned from him, and of course the conversation with S.J. Green. I would imagine that just watching Andre Dury around here was also valuable in the memory bank. 2nd and 8. Ricky with a pump fake. Hunted down now, and Ray fumbled the football. It's loose. It's Calgary ball.
Great heads-up play.
Ricky Ray was chased down. Fumbled it. The Stamps knock it wisely out of bounds. Great pursuit this time again on Ricky Ray. And the Argos cough it up, and Charleston Hughes right in the thick of it.
Yeah, Hughes finds himself inside after working on a loop here. He's going to twist all the way to the inside and then has to come back out as Ricky Ray gets flushed. Great pursuit. He creates the strip. Nice heads-up play by the young Canadian Michael Kashak out of McMaster. knowing he doesn't need to get possession of the ball. He just needs to be the last to touch it.
Bo Mitchell goes down. And it's Jeff Finley again. Penalty flag back in the end zone and also at the 8-yard line. Bo Mitchell runs for his life here, and Finley, again, sackless through his...
Holding Calgary, number 61. Penalties declined. He's second down.
Sackless through his 3 seasons in Montreal, really used sparingly. And now as a pair here tonight and 4 on the season, Dwayne.
Well, this is a guy who earned the opportunity to get in the starting lineup when Cleon Lang went down. So you get one more look at the strip by Charleston Hughes. Recovery by Kashak to tap that out of bounds.
Big play here for the Argos. Jerome Messam, though, romps up the middle. And it's fumbled. And it's picked up. Back and forth they go. Troy Davis. Jerome Messam loses the ball. And what a crazy minute or so here in Toronto as they play topsy turnover.
Well, you wondered on that defensive line with Victor Butler down and Cleon Lang down, who was going to make some of the plays on that D-line. Well, we just saw Jeff Finley with the sack force him into second and long. They run the draw play on second and long, which creates the opportunity for Troy Davis in the lineup for Victor Butler to come up with this recovery. Second fumble of the game for Messam, who's fortunate enough to recover the first one. Not this time.
High snap. Ray in trouble. Was looking for the crosser, Payton, and he got drilled. So after all of that, we're kind of where the Argos should have been, where the clock still is, if you know what I'm saying. You don't see that happen too often, back-to-back turnovers like that.
How about Micah Johnson? One of the best in the business as an interior pass rusher. Gets it done again here. Dents that D-line. Finds a gap. Makes the play on Ricky Ray.
Ricky changes the play here on 2nd and 10. Stays in the pocket, now flushed, and he throws it away again as Charleston Hughes had his mitts on him once more.
Yeah, Charleston Hughes doing what Charleston Hughes does. Disrupting the passing game.
Charleston, who was credited with a sack, and he knocked that ball away. Now with 6 on the season, really about 12 to 13 pressures already, and this is what he does. He is relentless. Throws Ray down like a sack of potatoes.
Well, that's spin move is a move of experience. He drives the tackle upfield, recognizes that as he gets upfield, the quarterback's going to step up, so he's not losing contain, not losing leverage by spinning back inside.
So after all of that, Liram Hajrullahu caps it off with a field goal, and the lead is 10. So the Argos stop that streak of 20 straight points by the Stampeders, and I would say that's significant, particularly fresh in the minds for the Stamps and the Argos of what they saw last week back in Calgary. And you've been around football for a long time. 60-1 might have been flattering last week.
Yeah, and again, it was one of those games when you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Yeah, they're struggling. They've had a tough start to their season. Nobody in this league is 59 points better than anybody else, but on a given day, if one team's rolling and another team's having a tough time, somebody gets some momentum, somebody's confidence gets rattled, somebody else's confidence is booming, surging. That's how a game like that happens, but you know, a week later, it means absolutely nothing. And both teams have to line up and play again facing new opponents.
Day later, it means nothing. The points are in the standings. There's Rory Colhart's first catch as a Calgary Stampeder.
Yeah, a guy who saw a lot of action as the top Canadian receiver in Winnipeg over the last few seasons. Joins the deep Canadian receiving core here in Calgary.
And Lamar Durant injured, of course. So now Mitchell flushed, rushed, throws it, and it finds his man. It's Anthony Parker on that far sideline. Looks like he's winded, but what a play by Bo Mitchell, who is pursuit. Parker is slow to get up, and they're going to have to bring the trainer over to that side of the field now. As he was hammered. So now 26 seconds, loads of time, really. A few more plays for Bo Mitchell still to get it to the end zone.
And Mitchell does a nice job moving around to buy himself a little bit of time. Big stick on the back end by Rico Murray on Anthony Parker.
Right in the ribs.
Yeah, he's completely exposed there. Perfect form tackle by Rico Murray as he just buries that shoulder in his gut.
As punishing as that hit is, and you know, we have been talking, the sports world's talked about football and hitting and, you know, concussion awareness and all those things. That is the way you tackle.
Absolutely. Head out of the way. Get the shoulders there. Use the arms to wrap up. Now, I'll just make the quick point for Calgary. In terms of the ratio, as you see now, a second Canadian receiver going down for them. We see Rory Collard come in to replace Lamar Durant. They don't have to replace Parker with another national player because Calgary lines up heavy in terms of the number of Canadian starters they have. Jerome Messam gives them that luxury. They actually start 7 on offense. Plus you've got Alex Singleton, Derek Wigan, 2 Canadians starting on the defensive side of the ball. So they've got a little bit of flexibility that they can plug an American receiver in there.
American receiver is 84, Reggie Beggleton. Mitchell drifts one in, and it's Daniels, Tavares Daniels to the 20 with the block. Could score, will score, touchdown.
Nice catch and run by Daniels. Great block by Rory Collard.
Tavares Daniels, last year's Roy, Rookie of the Year. Second touchdown of the season. And a big assist to number 87, Rory Collard.
There's a good look at the protection, offensive line. Holding strong. Tavares Daniels doing a nice job making people miss, but there's the key. Rory Collard getting enough of Rico Murray to take him off his angle.
Well, we said it before. They are explosive.
Let's go, baby. All day. All day.
And they are deep. And that might even be a bigger word in the vocabulary of the Calgary Stampeders. They are so deep. When Rory Collard, who's hardly played and got reps this year, Tavares Daniels hasn't seen much football because of Kamar Jordan. Jordan is hurt. Next man up, next man up, next man up, and next man up usually finds the end zone.
When you talk about that depth, you mentioned Rory Collard. I mean, this is a guy who's been kind of 3rd or 4th on the depth chart amongst Calgary's Canadian receivers. Bear in mind, Juwan Brescison, their 2nd-round pick last year, who had been on the roster to start the season. He's on the 6th game right now. That's opened the door for Collard, but to have a guy with that experience who's been productive, has been in every situation, can help you out on special teams. He's going to know all the different receiver positions. To have a guy like that to plug in, it's just the way of the Calgary Stampeders, and of course it's become the model for every team in the Canadian Football League now, as we hear so often.
All day, baby.
The next man up mantra.
(27-10). Martese Jackson looking to make something happen. And Jameer Thurman's having himself a ball game here tonight. Special teams and right back into the trio at linebacker. A big interception for him. Calgary Stampeders had a 39-1 lead last week. 27-10 tonight. Talk about quick strike. Every time the Argos make a point, the Stamps answer. 17-point lead. Thursday night football at the half on TSN.
To Toronto beginning on the 23rd of September. A half that's dominated by the Calgary Stampeders as we take a look at the halftime stats with Mill.
Yes, they were dominated by these Calgary Stampeders, Rod. Toronto, they have to stop turning the ball over. Ricky Ray had a solid half, but they have to protect him. And what about Roy Finch? Once again, punt return for a touchdown. This time 103 yards. Can they stop him in this second half?
What about Roy Finch? Here he is with Matthew Shinetti.
Well, Roy, Is it the offense, is it the defense, or is it the special teams? What makes this Calgary Stampeders lineup so explosive?
We just go to work. We go to work every day during the week. You know, we have a very talented group, very focused group. You know, we challenge each other. You know what I mean? We compete. You know, we compete on the practice field, and when we come out here, we want to compete. So if somebody goes 50, we're like, yo, it's my turn. You know what I mean? Because we have so many great players. So we just feed off of each other, and you know, it's just a great atmosphere. We just try to keep our energy up and keep everything within the locker room.
Well, you must be competing with yourself because you go for a 97-yard kick return to a 103 kick return. What's working for you right now in your returns?
Mentally, got to be mentally strong. Got to be mentally tough, and it all starts on the practice field. You know, I really go to work. I pay attention to the details, and I just want to be great. That's what it is, man. I want to be great. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be average. I want to be great. So it's not about talking. It's about, you know, proving it and going on the field and making plays. So each week I just try to keep the same approach of how I treat my body and how I practice. So that's given me a lot of success on the field.
Thanks, Roy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It was a 3-point game in the second quarter until Roy Finch did that, 103 yards. Ricky Ray, a touchdown pass there. They need more of it, though. Trailing by 17 to Finch. And the Stamps with the second half kickoff coming up here on TSN.
Hearing a lot of trash talking between both sidelines, but you're a leader on this team. How do you get your guys focused for the second half?
Yeah, we just got to play our game. Block that out and play our game. Plain and simple.
And how do you start that in the second half?
Executing our plays and not allow them to get in our head and just do what we're supposed to do and execute our assignments.
And in terms of the offense, what's missing in extending drives gained down the field?
Simple execution, man. I mean, it's the name of the game. I sound repetitive, but it's just as easy as executing our game plan.
Thanks, Esther.
Thank you.
Well, you heard the guys talk about it, the panel here. Pressure on Ricky Ray enormous as well tonight. What a spectacular night. Downtown Toronto, Thursday night football. How can the Argos bite back into this, take some of the pressure off of Ricky Ray?
Well, they may have to change up their protection schemes, move the pocket, even basic things like changing up snap counts so that guys like Johnson and Hughes aren't timing their get-offs. Little bit of screen draw type stuff that affects the timing, makes the pass rushers, keeps those pass rushers honest a little bit as well. But it takes some creativity. You may have to, as I said, like use the backs, maybe occasionally go two backs, double tight end, widen the edges. Just some things that change up the angles and the timing for the pass rushers.
Here's the game changer. At it again, Roy Finch. He has piled up some kick return numbers tonight, and still Bo Levi Mitchell 6-0 lifetime against the Argos, by the way. Normal night at the office, I'd say.
Yeah, so far he's had a little bit of help in recent weeks from Jerome Messam in that ground game, but Mitchell 10 of 13 for 139 yards through 30 minutes.
His 58th career start tonight. ...16 straight games before tonight. And a touchdown pass as well. Now make it 17 in a row. That late touchdown to Davaris Daniels. Every time the Argos seem to creep closer, even had the lead earlier, this powerful team of horses turns it up again.
Well, I would say it goes a little bit with the Stampeders' record of having not lost 2 games in a row in quite some time. It's very similar in terms of drives on the field.
Spiral, big catch again by Davaris Daniels. Slow to get up, and this receiving core, if there is a downside tonight, they are getting kicked around. They are getting beaten up. Now Davaris Daniels, who makes an outstanding grab on the far side, will be attended to.
Yeah, the hope is that he just got winded here a little bit with the hard landing. After this catch is, this one's from the book of S.J. Green. The twisting, full extension, win the jump ball.
Do you know we see about 2 or 3 of these a night?
Well, it's
the year of the
all part of this remarkable 2017 season.
And it becomes almost an MO. Davaris Daniels is sprinting to the sidelines. That's a good sign. We'll try to get an update. It seems to be a mentality, an MO from the quarterbacks to just throw up these jump balls because they know these receivers have a 50-50 chance of getting it.
Well, yeah, and there's been the trend, of course, in recent years towards bigger receivers where 50-50 isn't really 50-50 in a lot of cases, unless, as we talked about in the first half, the DB is a Tommy Campbell.
S.J. Green made it an art. Mitchell again. And this is picked off. There's a penalty flag down. Rico Murray has the pick. Let's see what the flag is about. Bo Mitchell thinks it's interference against the Argos, and he may have a point. Where that flag was dropped and thrown was near that area. Looks like the drive will stay alive. The interception will be intercepted.
Receiver, Toronto, number 26. 10-yard penalty, first down, Calgary.
Keep in mind, Mark Dressman already used his challenge early in the ball game. No argument anyway. Cassius Vaughn. In the middle again.
Yeah, Vaughn has frequently been dropping, although he's listed as the nickel linebacker, and we know teams like to have those multiple looks where guys will exchange positions and so on. He's frequently been a deep middle player tonight.
Jerome Messam sprinting down the sidelines and drilled out of bounds. Bear Woods carried him over there. Messam, you talked about that deceptive speed for a monster.
Yeah, everybody anticipates Jerome Messam because of his size. You're kind of ready for him between the tackles, but every so often he bounces to the outside and gets in a little bit of space. And no question, he catches defenders off guard with his ability to outrun angles.
8 carries, 66 yards for Messam. Bo throws. McDaniel, oh, another great move. Ducking under another would-be tackler. Making the miss again, and Markway McDaniel makes Matt Webster miss.
Well, Markway McDaniel would make a terrific boxer as he's got this bob and weave down pat. Ducking under the blow from the defender. Pick up a couple extra yards.
There he goes. Into the red zone. Looking end zone. Bo. Looking for the newcomer, Reggie Beggleton. Comes into the lineup with Kamar Jordan out. Played at Lamar University. Had a terrific preseason. Was actually injured, cut by the Stampeders, and then brought back. They really like this guy.
Yeah, and as you said, with Kamar Jordan's injury last week, Beggleton makes his way onto the active roster here in week 7.
Great skill set. We'll watch 84. Mitchell looking again, and caught. Touchdown! Markway McDaniel. Another strike.
Too fucking easy. Let's go.
Another big strike. To Markway McDaniel, who's making up for his 0-catch week last week.
Yeah, and with Kamar Jordan out of the lineup, Markway McDaniel becomes the undisputed go-to guy in that red zone. And again, that's a tremendous catch, but that one just, for all the great catches we've seen this season, that just goes down as another one. Great concentration, basically plucking it off the arm of the defender.
So like last week, the Stampeders giving warning to their opposition that they may be ready to take off again. It's up to the Toronto Argonauts to stop the Stamps. How do you do it? Cassius Vaughn all over Markway McDaniel, and he still scores the major. Former Hampton McDaniel, Hamilton Tiger Cat, played down here and has been such a clutch go-to guy.
I went quick because he was pressing.
You know, you kind of call him solid, not spectacular, because he makes the spectacular look easy.
So consistent, so reliable, and that's the key. Marquay McDaniel on that touchdown lined up in his traditional spot. He's the number 3 receiver in the slot, so that's going to put the nickel linebacker Cassius Vaughn on him. In this part of the field, straight man-to-man defense. Outside release keeps the hands of the defender off him. And we talked earlier in this ball game about the importance of a receiver earning the trust of his quarterback. There's a perfect indication. Marquay McDaniel has certainly done that over the course of his career. It's not like he was wide open by any stretch. Cassius Vaughn was in his hip pocket, but Marquay McDaniel has the trust of his quarterback that Mitchell will make that throw.
Kim Murphy dropped the flag in the backfield. They had 13 men. Just saw that graphic brought to you by our statologist, John Russin.
Ah, yes, the Sultan of Stats.
The Sultan of Stats. That is a big number. Do you think the Calgary Stampeders were a little miffed after losing to Montreal?
Yeah, mildly irked since losing 121 to 21.
Yikes.
Don't poke the bear.
Oh, almost making that catch is Fuller. And so now, you know, you think about a balanced attack, but as we've seen before, the game's starting to get away. Down 24. Ricky Ray is fresh blood in there right now because he's going to be dropping back to pass almost every single play.
Yeah, you heard Matty Dunnigan talk about the pressure on Ricky Ray already in this ball game. Well, now as it gets into more predictable passing situations,
like this, Alex Singleton has his first sack. And the most unique sack celebration of the
it
season.
seems almost a fitting sack celebration for anyone who's ever met Alex Singleton. Guy who's just having a whole lot of fun out there on the field. Mugged up in the line of scrimmage, over top of the center is Alex Singleton. Nice execution on the twist. As Tyler Holmes just had trouble, the guard tracking him and getting off. The Argos have had some communication issues in dealing with the Stampeders stunts up front.
They've had a Roy Finch issue as well. Good field position. 3 sacks apiece here tonight. The Argos came in to this game, had more sacks than any other team in the CFL, but they also gave up more. Alex Singleton has his first in what is already a remarkable young career. In the CFL.
This is it right here. Open up the hole.
Tuesday at 7 Eastern. Mics are up on that Calgary sideline. They're smiling already tonight. There goes Messam. Great matchup watching he and Bear Woods. Used to be teammates in Montreal. Half the first down yardage for the Messam Express.
And Woods doing a nice job scraping to the football. But nonetheless, a positive gain on first down, 5 yards for Jerome Messam.
How do you stop the Stamps? Here's the blitz. Bear Woods has Bo Levi Mitchell. Well, that's one way to do it. That's a huge loss, by the way. Right out of field goal position. And something positive for the Argos. Sparked by their middle linebacker.
Yeah, watch the timing here. You're going to see Bear Woods appear all of a sudden as he timed up the snap count here. And just beat the center. Eucumbre Williams off the mark.
Good kick. Martise Jackson. Hank Burris talked about flipping the field. The coffin corner kick. Rob Maver with a good kick Down near the 10-yard line, there's a flag on the play.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Toronto, number 23, after the play. Half the distance to goal, first down.
Well, that helps out. That was his 5th boot inside the 10-yard line for Maver. And now the shadows of the goalposts for the Argos. The uphill climb is even steeper.
Second most talked about Brampton native on the Stampeders.
Yes. Out of the backfield, Martese Jackson. Shamir Thurman. Think he's been anxious to get into the starting lineup?
Yeah, no question.
Next man up in Calgary. That is their motto, their mantra, and Thurman epitomizes that.
Yeah, late signing for the Stampeders leading into training camp. Undrafted linebacker out of Indiana State. Had a brief NFL look, rookie mini camps before signing on with the Stamps.
Ray slipped, got up and threw it. Ricky Ray slipping right near that goal line, right where the
that surface changes
into the artificial turf in that end zone. It also is a change in the other end zone because this football field configured as well for soccer. But watch Ricky Ray. That's natural grass he's on, and his foot slips on the artificial field turf in the end zone.
Yeah, it's not going to dig in the same way. You're going to wear a longer cleat to play on a natural surface than you are on an artificial surface. And that long cleat on an artificial surface doesn't give you much traction.
It's been talked about before, and this ball is going to come back. Lirim Hairolahu was just dusted, as was our parabolic sound operator. Hope he's okay.
Major foul, roughing the kicker. Calgary, number 32. We'll go up 15 yards, automatic first down.
So Argos catch a break. Sagi Odiasi got a little too close to Hairolahu.
You'll see Hairolahu still in the follow-through. As Odiasi, much like Ricky Ray, blew a tire on that artificial surface.
You and I have talked about this since last year when it began, and always, even into the Grey Cup game, that difference in surfaces, it's a hazard of playing here. This is such a terrific field. But down the road, they hope that they're going to be able to rectify that somehow. Up the pipe goes Brandon Whitaker. Flags fly. This is the only natural grass field in the Canadian Football League. Again,
the only mostly natural grass field in the Canadian Football League?
Yes, I guess. Except for the end zones. This is the south end zone.
Yeah, I mean, that shows the difference great. So on the short artificial surface, you want a shoe that's going to give you more contact with the surface.
Decline. Holding Toronto. We'll go back 10 yards, repeat first down.
Longer grass surface, you want a longer cleat, something that's going to allow you to dig in.
There's the natural grass surface. Again, the end zone is artificial or a field turf. That's the north end zone. The south end zone about 5 yards back there.
Yeah, just the last 5 yards it changes.
Again, we've seen players slip. So now first and tons. Batted down. And whatever rhythm the Argos had early in this ball game has been snuffed out completely by the Stampeders.
Well, it sure has. And again, the Stampeders, a team that doesn't lose 2 in a row, rarely lets the opposition win 2 drives in a row, offensively or defensively. Not going to get scored on twice in a row.
They'll rush 5 again. Ricky Ray now stretching it out. Jump ball. No flag. Deontay Evans and Jeff Fuller one-on-one.
A good non-call by the official. Although Deontay Evans felt he got manhandled a little bit here. He may have a bit of a case as Jeff Fuller turned DB on the play.
Roy Finch is back. Hiralahu again. And once again get rolled into, but not as bad this time. Finch steps out of bounds. Stampeders will scrimmage inside Toronto territory once more. The Bo show continues. Taking his act on the road. Strike after strike. 24-point lead for the visiting Stampeders. The Argos slipping up in more ways than one tonight here at BMO Field. With more, let's go down to Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, Rod. You know, the concern that I hear from every player when they're coming off the turf at BMO Field is about that end zone, particularly the north side, where, as you and Dwayne were talking about, it changes from surface grass to the field turf. Now, I've also asked every equipment manager in the league who comes to BMO Field about what the precautions are they can take to help their players, and they all say there's nothing. It's just one of those things you have to deal with when you come here. And talking to Tommy Campbell about it during this game, he said, listen, we just have to deal with it, and we just got to win, guys.
Marquay McDaniel darts out to the far side. Until someone invents retractable cleats.
No, I'm just going out on a limb here.
Okay.
In terms of solutions. How about they plant more grass?
Well, you can't because of the soccer configuration.
Plant more grass. The soccer configuration is not set up all the time. There's got to be a way to plant more grass.
Or roll it in. You can't roll grass in, but there's field turf. You can't. You know that, right? There has to be a solution. Because I'll tell you one thing. Somebody
Listen, I did a hell of a job on my lawn this spring, Blackie.
Well, then you plant the grass.
I will come and plant the damn grass.
You plant the grass. There's a big jolt there. Argos defense trying to bring it here. Justin Tuggle. It's a little smash mouth here.
Coming in pursuit to lower the boom.
The Argos defense with another hold here in this battle of field position. But the Stamps are bringing out Rene Paredes. Field goal team. Paredes has not attempted a field goal over 50 yards this season. This from the 52. His longest 47, and he misses this wide left. And you can see the slipping there. Martese Jackson, maybe he shouldn't have done that, but maybe he should have. There he goes. Jackson cuts back. Penalty flag down near the 35. Normally, a guy slips, but Martese Jackson, speed to burn, brings it out near the 40. We'll settle the flag when we come back. Big return on a big miss by Rene Paredes.
On the
An eventful play for Rene Paredes as he makes his longest field goal attempt of 2017. Sails wide left, which means you got to cover it. Someone's going to come and block you. Pretty good wrestling match ensues.
A kicker did not just take down a special teams player. He did. It was Rico Murray, and he took a penalty for that. Declined. 64-yard return from Martese Jackson. And just as we've been talking about that turf, he slipped in the end zone and still was able to make something out of what looked like nothing.
Yeah, fortunately on a long field goal attempt, he had plenty of time to recover. And again, as you got the big guys out there for protection, this is why teams are so hesitant to attempt the long field goals.
Argos need a spark. 4-possession ball game right now. They're being smothered by Charleston Hughes and the Stampeders.
The Stampeder defense continues to roll, and again, as the Argos find themselves in passing situations, now trailing by 24 late in the third quarter. That just plays right into the hands of the mastermind there, Devon Claybrooks.
2nd and 11. The rush again. They continue to harass Ray. Down he goes. Down goes the football. Penalty flag on the play, and Ricky Ray is hurt, and Charleston Hughes is down to the 20. Flags everywhere. Ray was down face first on the grass. And now he's up, holding his arm, slowly making his way to the sideline. Trying to figure all of this out. Might be a hold in there.
Well, I think
Could
there was a forward lateral at the end.
Will this be a turnover? Matt Dunnigan talked about it at halftime, so did Milt. Ricky Ray was going to get hurt taking this kind of punishment.
Contact on a receiver, Calgary number 35. That's a 10-yard penalty. We also had an offside pass by Calgary. That by rule, that penalty is declined. Be first down, Toronto.
But Ricky Ray.
Correction. Second down.
Will be looked at by Scott Shannon, the athletic therapist. Take a look here.
Yeah, Alex Singleton is the guy that gets there, coming from the bottom right corner of your screen. Watch him recover. Excuse me. Michael Kashak had a big fumble recovery in the first half. He was the man that worked back here. Ricky Ray with that arm cocked.
This arm was crumpled there and then slammed to the turf, and so backup Cody Fajardo pressed into action. Singleton chasing him. Fajardo decides to take off and steps out of bounds in front of Ciante Evans and the Calgary bench.
Well, this will be a complete change of pace for the Calgary defense, as this is a big part of Fajardo's game. This is a guy who can move the pocket, scramble, just flat out run the ball. Now, I'm not sure to what extent Mark Trestman may have created any kind of specific package tailored to his skill set. But certainly under that pressure, there will be a different response to pressure than the Stampeders got from Ricky Ray with the mobility of Cody Fajardo.
Fajardo loves to run, obviously. There's a flag down. It was back at the 50-yard line. Singleton waiting for the call here.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 49. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
15-yarder. Singleton, who plays hard and plays fast, does not play dirty.
Well, I think the argument he's making is, if my helmet is at waist height and the guy happens to be falling down because he's just bounced off someone else, you can't avoid it. Now, for the officials, it's a black and white call. I understand that. There are no judgment calls. I disagree with the concept of having no judgment calls, but that's not my call.
They'll run it up the middle. Ryan Hall brings down Brandon Whitaker. Ricky Ray is being looked at. Trying to move that shoulder, definitely from when his arm was cocked through from the sideline. You can see him wincing here, and so based on this, it's Fajardo's turn here in this drive. 2nd and 4. Empties out the backfield. Play clock comes down. And this is where the inexperience of Cody Fajardo,
Toronto, number 17. It's a 5-yard penalty. Made second down.
Is going to be a negative. Let's go down to Matt Chinetti.
Okay, guys, Ricky Ray is sitting on the sidelines right now. He tried to throw the football after talking to athletic therapist Scott Shannon. Immediately he threw once, and he grimaced, and he walked away, and teammates are coming up to him, and he's shaking his head. It doesn't look good for Ricky Ray right now, guys.
Based on what we just saw, Matthew, I don't even know if he's going to be back here tonight. Almost looking like said, I'm done. I'm done. So Fajardo's time. Thrown behind S.J. Green. facing a 24-point deficit. You got your backup guy who has little or no CFL experience. You do have Jeff Matthews, who has played in the past with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but the drive will stall here. Looked like Ricky Ray may be shut down here for the night.
Yeah, and his numbers on the evening: 50-26, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception for the veteran QB.
Too common a story for the Argos. Field goals. Liram Hajrullah, who's been great this season, but they've attempted the most field goals in the league. They've made the most field goals. Trading those off for touchdowns will not get it done. Down 21 now. That's unfortunate news for the Toronto Argos. Ricky Ray enjoying a career season.
Such has been the ongoing battle for Ricky Ray basically since he became a Toronto Argonaut in 2012. Had a series of injuries that have prevented him from playing full seasons here in Double Blue.
Don't know if it's that elbow or it's that shoulder causing him to grimace. One of the reasons that scoring is up so much and so much offense in the CFL this year has been the health of starting quarterbacks around the league.
Yeah, Ricky Ray off to such a great start in this union with quarterback guru Mark Trestman.
Favoring that upper arm just above the elbow.
Timeout, Calgary.
He was in the crosshairs all night for the Stampeders, and they were bringing it. Devon Claybrooks was bringing heat all night long.
Well, the Stampeders do such a good job of executing those stunts and twists up front to free people up, whether it's been Charleston Hughes, whether it's been Micah Johnson, in his case often just beating people straight up. Alex Singleton has been involved in that stunt game tonight.
Bo Mitchell back at it, 2nd and 4. Pulls it back. Pumps it in once more to Davaris Daniels, who is back for the Stampeders. That's good news for them. Again, another first down, Calgary. Just moving the football, slicing and dicing.
Well, you'll see the other big part of Jerome Messam's job here is middle linebacker Bear Woods. He's going to bring the heat, tracks him, squares him up, punch to the chest, great blitz pickup.
Play action again, sacked again. And Dylan Wynn has his 2nd sack of the night. Tough night to be a quarterback. Argos, ray of hope is on the sideline right now as we head to the 4th. Calgary Stampeders, who have been almost inconquerable, leading after 3 quarters over the last 3 seasons, lead big here for the 2nd straight week against an Eastern opponent, 34-13. Biggest story of the ballgame, certainly the injury to Ricky Ray, and it looks like he's not going to be playing for the rest of the night, maybe the near future. Here's Mark Trestman coming over to talk to Ricky, and it just seems that that has been a story for Ricky Ray. Yes, he did win a Grey Cup coming to Toronto, but he has watched more games than he has played here because of injuries.
Yeah, and it's been an issue for this team, and it has become more of an issue as over the years Zach Collaros, who was the backup, had moved on to become a starter elsewhere. Trevor Harris, prior to last season, had been the backup, moved on to become a starter elsewhere. And so they don't have the same kind of experience behind them, which just, I guess, adds to the critical nature of having Ricky Ray in that lineup.
Marquay McDaniel, big night here tonight. Obviously being a targeted man tonight by Bo Levi Mitchell, who has also faced a lot of Argo heat. Again, the top 2 sack teams in the CFL. The difference is Calgary's been #1 in the CFL in protecting their quarterback. They won't get the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2. So Maver out again. As we begin the 4th quarter, 3-possession game. And again, you're always in it seems, in the CFL. But can you stay in it without your star quarterback? Big boot. Jackson from his 2. Jackson is pasted by Charlie Power downfield so quickly. Let's go down to the sideline once again. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Now, with so many questions about Ricky Ray's health, and he's sitting behind me, who is Cody Fajardo? If you don't know about the Argos offense, you should know this. The backups do not get reps during practice. I spoke to offensive coordinator Marcus Brady a few weeks ago about Fajardo in the event, and you guys have been explaining it, that Ricky Ray does get injured. He has been injured every season he's been in Toronto. The one thing Brady said, even without the reps, Fajardo is a winner. Always active during meeting rooms, always saying something during film sessions. And one thing Argos quarterbacks do during practice, kind of shadow box behind Ricky Ray. They go through the motions. They don't throw the football, but they go through the progression reads. The one thing, though, Brady says, Fajardo's a winner, and we know we can count on him, guys.
Well, guess what, young man? These are the real motions right now.
Well, it was very interesting to hear for those who watched the pregame, our epic pregame hit, Rod, by the way, in which
I thought you were at your best tonight.
Thank you. Canadian Screen Award all the way. Dave Dickinson talked about giving his backups more reps than other teams, as we've seen the production from the Calgary backups over the last couple of weeks. Andrew Buckley, 10 for 10 off the bench last week.
Fajardo elbowed out by James Botters. Violent shot on the sideline. And Fajardo seems to have one play right now, and that's to get the ball and run. Boom.
Well, Fajardo had his 2016 season cut short when he came on in relief in a game shortly after midseason last year. Suffered a season-ending knee injury.
Loose ball. Roy Finch, who fumbled on his first touch tonight, made up for it by taking the ball back for a touchdown later. Really changed momentum so much early, and the Argos have not been able to catch up. Bo Levi Mitchell looks to pad that lead when we come back on Thursday Night Football from Toronto. Ford, Matt Shinetti, our entire crew here, kicking off week 7 in the CFL. It has turned into a miserable night for the Argos and Ricky Ray. But another huge one for the swarming Stamps. Penalty flag. And this could be an interference call. Rory Collard was watched closely by Brandon Harris.
Pass interference. Toronto, number 4. It's a 10-yard penalty, an automatic first down, Calgary.
Crowd doesn't like it, but looked like he got to Collard first.
You see Brandon Harris, the halfback. He's working against Rory Collard. Lined up in the slot. Definitely a little early with the arm across in front.
1st and 10 again for Bo. Into traffic, knocked down by Cassius Vaughn. That's one of the few one-on-one battles that Vaughn has won tonight with Marquay McDaniel.
And looked like that ball was thrown a little bit behind the intended receiver. Good anticipation, though, you saw by Cassius Vaughn. Didn't bite on that inside fake, immediately made his break to the outside and was right there to get a hand in.
Argos defense, credit them, have stiffened in the last few series at this point, and here they come again, and Bo Mitchell escapes and gives it to Finch. Somehow Roy Finch now picks up a first down. And Bo Levi Mitchell plays Chris Angel.
Bo Levi Mitchell had a brief chance to visit last week with Doug Flutie in Calgary, and I think he was channeling the former Stampeder and Argo great on this play with the escape and dish.
Houdini-like, quick hitter. And Anthony Parker spinning down inside the 10. And Parker, who was hurt earlier. Again, positive sign for the Stamps. And some of those injuries piling up. Parker back in, makes a big play again, and Calgary will go first and goal. And a chance, really. And I know we did a big comeback game last week. Chance really here to kind of put things away. Stamps have had very little resistance the last couple of weeks. McDaniel slipping and sliding, and the avalanche continues. Penalty flag in the end zone, but after the touchdown.
Well, a couple of missed tackles for the Argos. Marquay McDaniel battles his way in.
Pair of scores already for number 16 tonight.
Now, watch the recognition of pressure here. Bo Levi Mitchell, he knows he's responsible in this protection scheme for the unblocked man coming off that right side. We'll take another look at it.
After the play, objectional conduct, Toronto, number 6. 10 yards to be played on the kickoff.
Marcus Ball swiping that away. Frustration clearly setting in here for the Toronto Argonauts, and right now they're probably feeling like the Hamilton Tiger Cats did last week.
Good drive, y'all. Hey, Park, good
5 plays, 51 yards covered in just over 2 minutes, culminating in that Marquay McDaniel touchdown.
No words needed. Paredes converts. Breaking news. Calgary Stampeders are for real.
He's never in doubt.
Marquay McDaniel, the real deal again tonight. 41-13, Calgary. Marquay McDaniel makes another house call. Ken Austin talked about it last week. Not much you can say for the Tiger Cats after getting blown out 60-1, but he said, hey, it was like a snowball and it kept getting bigger. And guess what? That snowball continues into week 7.
Yeah, as one team's confidence grows, that being the Calgary Stampeders. And usually within the course of a game, can be at the expense of the other team's confidence. And that's how momentum gets going.
Martese Jackson tiptoes the sidelines out near the 34-yard line.
I talked about Bo Mitchell's role in the protection scheme. You're going to see 6 guys rushing on this play. Only 5 guys involved in the protection scheme. Finch and McDaniel, they're going to free release out of there. So 6 coming versus 5. That means that Mitchell is responsible for number 92, Troy Davis, to the right of your screen. So he's got to get rid of that football before Davis gets there in a nutshell. The blockers are going to take care of the inside guys, leave the widest rusher. He takes a little slide to his left to buy a bit of time, but he knows he's got to get it out of there in a hurry. Perfect execution.
You wonder, with 10 minutes to go, Bo Levi Mitchell only played a half last week. With this game really no longer in doubt, might we see more Andrew Buckley and some more of the B team again here tonight? Back-to-back lopsided games, it seems. Unless Cody Fajardo can muster something, but...
and it becomes about managing personnel for the Stampeders because, well, they're on a short week. Nice strike there from Fajardo. While the Stamps are on a short week, playing on 5 days, the fact is a lot of their starters only played a half last week, and they've got a bye next week. So you don't necessarily want to sit guys too long.
Good point.
But that said, any opportunity you get to protect your starters and get meaningful playing time for your young guys, that's a valuable thing.
Fajardo for third down. Goes right side, will get it, and a little bit more. But then again, you know, if you're Dave Dickinson and you played the position and you've been injured before, and you're looking down at that Argo bench and you're seeing their star quarterback sitting on the bench and realizing how fleeting it can be when you lose your number one, I'm sure the leash might be a little bit longer for Bo Levi Mitchell, but it can't be that long.
No, you definitely have to understand that balance between health and timing, sharpness, whatever you want to call it.
Wilder Jr. Thurman again, another tackle here tonight. Jameer Thurman having a career night, replacing Malik Harris, who's not an easy guy to replace, by the way.
No, and Harris had been doing a very good job replacing Duron Mayo at that will or weak side linebacker spot. Here, a nice run from Wilder, good read to bounce it outside. Put Thurman in that pursuit position.
Fajardo near the midway point of the fourth. Wilder. Derek Wigan had his hands on Wilder and slams the grass.
Yeah, Derek Wigan doing a nice job. He's had an opportunity to play a lot of snaps over the last couple of seasons with Junior Turner injured on that defensive line, D tackle spot. Former Queens star, played primarily as a D end for the Gales.
Second down and 7, Fajardo. Delayed draw. Wilder is stuffed. A win tonight by the Stamps, which looks rather inevitable at this point. Would put them into first place in the West. 5 wins and the tie from earlier against Ottawa. Edmonton again has Hamilton tomorrow night. Eskimos, only undefeated team in the CFL. Another field goal attempt for Lirim Hajrullahu. Near the 43. And he splits them, squeezing it in right side. Another great night to be a Calgary Stampeder. Last week at home, this week on the road, and both times against Ontario teams.
On us, Rod Black.
Thank you, Dwayne Promo Ford. You ever seen that show? Great on it?
I have not.
That's a binge-worthy show. Gotta watch them. Ballers, too. I can't believe you haven't seen Ballers.
Lived it.
You lived it. That's true. That's a good point. You are the Rock. You're the Boulder. Andrew Buckley is in. Bo Mitchell's done. 6 minutes to go. We never did really get a chance to chat about it. We've got a lot of time now. With the news yesterday about the challenge flags that have been reduced to 1 challenge per game.
They're halfway there.
You don't want any video.
I don't want any. I've said it from day one. Play the game, officiate the game.
Makes the officials better, more accountable. Sure. That's what they're getting paid to do. I agree with you at some points.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark and Michel has his first catch with Bear Woods. Continue on. You're doing well here.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like, well, let's take a minute and talk Andrew Buckley. We'll get back to the officiating thing in a minute, because Andrew Buckley was absolutely lights out last week. His first extended action running the regular offense as opposed to just the short yardage unit. 10 for 10. Second most passes in a CFL game without an incompletion.
Jordan Case.
Yeah, the old Ottawa Rough Rider, Jordan Case.
14 for 14. There goes Roy Finch. Andrew Buckley's 11 for 11. Okay, go back, because you're getting just you're lathered up.
I mean, I'm really not lathered up, but
first place.
No.
But do you understand why you need, like...
I understand the desire to get calls right, but there's a human element to the game. I felt you're taking the human element out of the game. You're taking the speed, the pace out of a game whose pace is one of its greatest assets. I think you're affecting the way the game is officiated when people know that the safety net of the replay is there. And the replay challenge had become, instead of a means of making sure that no glaring mistakes were made, became kind of an offensive or defensive strategy.
Coaches started to use that yellow flag.
Yeah, and so again, these are things I said however many years ago, and it's come to fruition. So I'm glad to see it reduced. Frankly, I'd like to see it eliminated. If you want to use the eye in the sky to, as suggested, kind of correct the most glaring, most egregious of errors without delaying the game and with direct communication with the officials, that to me maybe makes some sense. But let's just play ball.
It became a video game after a while, and that's not the intent of the game. And I understand the contact and illegal contact, but it did slow the game down inordinately, and still could, even with one video challenge per side.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the league has become pretty good in terms of, for the most part, dealing with the challenges fairly quickly. I would say the speed of those reviews compared to when this started a few years ago has improved drastically.
Too many reviews, though. Buckley ducking, shaking, baking, and down he goes. Fumble. Brandon Harris brought Andrew Buckley down. 3-minute warning as Buckley continues his hot streak. Filling in for Bo Mitchell. And cleanup time. Closing time in Toronto for the Calgary Stampeders. Up. Huge. Stampeders about to round up and head home. And these are my guys. I love this. Drummers haven't had a lot to cheer about tonight, but we got to get down over there with those guys. I could see you. Were you a snare guy or were you a bass drum guy? What would you?
Really wasn't a drum guy. I was not well liked by my high school music teacher.
No, you weren't?
No, not gifted.
Jackson spinning, and again, nothing there. 41-16 Stampeders. Burns even the loss in this game for the Argos. They'll drop to 3-4, but potential loss of this guy for how long? We didn't see him since he left the game, and will Ricky Ray be out of the lineup? I would say tonight, tomorrow, the next few days, we will find out.
And if so, it becomes a crash course for Cody Fajardo.
Fajardo, Jeff Matthews there too. Fajardo throwing for Declan Cross, and again, very little experience for number 17. Let's go down to Matt Shinetti one more time. Matt?
Just an update on Ricky Ray. Hearing he was kept out of the rest of tonight's game for, quote, precautionary reasons. Mark Trestman came over just a few minutes ago. He's been coming over to Ray and talking to him periodically. He leaned over and asked Ray how he was feeling, and Ray just looked up to him and said, "I'm all right, guys."
Well, Argo football fans also hope that he's all right. The Argos hope that he is all right on a record pace season. Argos off to a pretty good start. Chucking it now, and S.J. Green brings in a Cody Fajardo bomb. That had some lift on it.
Yeah, nice throw. Heck of a catch for S.J. Green. Green does a nice job keeping this route wide as the Stamps have and the two deep middle players getting that ball into territory where S.J. Green can go up and get it.
Fajardo deep drop, chucking again, and Khalil Payton trying to run underneath that. Fajardo certainly has an arm.
Yeah, a guy known to a lot of people as a running quarterback. Essentially a guy who followed in the footsteps of Colin Kaepernick at the University of Nevada. An offense that required the quarterback to be able to run and throw the football, put up big numbers in both those statistical categories throughout his college career.
Fajardo 2 for 6, 48. Puts the wheel in the tire and turns. Tucks it and takes it. Cody Fajardo, undaunted. And this is experience valuable. He threw his 2 first completions of the season. Didn't even have an attempt before tonight. That shows you why it has been Ricky Ray's club, but might as well get some time.
Yeah, there's no question that there's no substitute for the live bullets of game action for a young quarterback, for a young guy at any position.
Fajardo can get some confidence out of this as well. Confidence grows. Fuller again, the former Stamp, close to a first down.
Yeah, when you look at Fajardo's first couple plays in this ball game, he was pretty quick to pull the ball down and run, go to his safety net, but again, it's a small sample size, but seems to have settled in a little bit, and in this drive in particular, has stood in and made a couple of really nice throws.
Again, played some last year before going down with injury, threw for a couple touchdowns. Declan Cross, head down, bucket down, and first down. 40 seconds to go. Frustrations on the near side of the field. A little extracurricular, but broken up. How good are the Calgary Stampeders? If you're saying like last week you couldn't really measure it because of both sides, they put enormous amount of points 2 weeks in a row here.
Well, what you want to see as a head coach when you're Dave Dickinson, any head coach, you want consistency in terms of your team's performance. But one of the other things you want to see just from a mental point of view for the Calgary Stampeders is for there to be no letdown after a game like last week, no complacency, no sort of resting on the laurels of that big win, and they've demonstrated that coming on the road, and what some people could see as a trap game after last week's result, that they've come out with another strong performance.
Final 20 seconds. Fajardo out of the backfield is Wilder. Well, the Stampeders, remember, a year ago came off a blowout win in the West Final, came into Toronto for the Grey Cup game with some swagger, maybe a little overconfidence, and ended up losing the Grey Cup to the Red Blacks. There goes Fajardo. Fajardo is going to score a touchdown. A little spark. A little something for the Argos.
Hey, winning or losing, you want to finish strong. That's a good one, a good drive to close it out for Cody Fajardo in this Toronto Argonaut offense.
Fajardo's second touchdown of the season. Tell you, he finds the hole. He's got the blinders on.
I mean, this is a guy that's used to putting his head down and running like a running back. Thought after watching Fajardo play early last season that this was the kind of guy around whom you could create a little bit of a specialized package within your offense, because he provides a changeup from Ricky Ray.
Final play for the two-point convert, Anthony Coombs. So some consolation for the Argos, who lose this game, lose their quarterback. But the Calgary Stampeders, this just in, they have dominated the last few weeks since they lost to Montreal. They've outscored their opposition 128-35. Little skirmish breaks out up near the 20-yard line. Looks like it's going to be broken up. Back-to-back blowouts for Alex Singleton's Stampeders. And with that theme, Alex is our Nissan Titan player of the game.
Yeah, Singleton all over the field tonight, the leader of this Calgary Stampeder defense. 7 tackles in this ball game, had his first sack of the season tonight. But constantly a high motor, high energy guy, sets the tone for those around him. Alex Singleton is tonight's Nissan Titan player of the game.
Brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Another great night for the Stampeders, red and white in Bluetown. 249 days after they lost the Grey Cup game on this turf. Small measure of redemption. This team has scored 101 points over the last 6 days. Last 2 games. We'll see you tomorrow night for our Friday night doubleheader. 41-24 the final for the Stamps. Good night from Toronto. Here's SportsCenter.
This is SportsCenter. We begin with the Stampeders and the Argonauts Calgary. Coming off that 60-1 win last week, they have beaten the Argos 6 straight times. Now, this is the first game where coaches have only one challenge available to them. Early in the first quarter, doesn't bother Mark Trestman. He doesn't like a pass interference call on Cassius Vaughn. So the challenge flag comes out. After the review, though, the call stands, and Toronto loses its only challenge less than 6 minutes into the game. Brampton, Ontario native Jerome Messam, leading the Canadian Football League, 414 rushing yards. There's a little 5-yard touchdown run. His 4th TD in 2 weeks. That's going to tie the game up at 7. With the score 10-7 Stamps, Roy Finch back to receive the punt. He had fumbled 1 return in the game. Doesn't fumble this.
Tonight. Looks like a good kick. But look at Roy Finch. Another head shake. Another head shake. And Roy Finch is not going to be caught. He has done it again. That's how we play. Spectacular return from Roy Finch.
That was great. Just the bobblehead there, boom. Finch goes 103 yards, untouched to the house. The second straight week that he's returned a punt for a touchdown, 9 seconds of the opening half. Bo Levi Mitchell looking for Devaris Daniels. He's going to make the grab, turns to the outside, gets a nice little block by Rory Kohlert, and he'll take it in for the touchdown. Stamps really starting to run away with this one. They're up by 17 at the half. Messam had 47 yards rushing in the first half. Bear Woods and the Argos had a game plan to try and stop the league's leading rusher. Quote, you hit him hard, then you hit him again. Then on the next play, you hit him again. He is a load, though. Third quarter, the Argos, yeah, they can't get a hit on Messam. Next thing you know, he's going 18 yards. Woods is going to drag him out of bounds. That led to another Calgary touchdown. Ricky Ray, the CFL's leading passer so far this season, under pressure gets hit hard. Michael Kashik comes around the edge and absolutely crushes Ray. A penalty allowed the Argos to retain possession, but Ray would head to the sidelines. He'd test his arm, but he decided he was in too much pain to re-enter the game. Mark Trestman comes over, and that's it. It's curtains for Ray. They pull him out of this football game because the game was out of hand, and the Toronto Argonauts desperately need Ricky Ray. Now, the Stampeders have outscored their opponents 128-35 this season with a loss to the Alouettes. Bo Levi Mitchell has now thrown at least 1 touchdown in 17 consecutive games. That happens to be the longest active streak in the Canadian Football League. With 3 touchdown passes, Mitchell now leads the CFL with 13 on the year. And after the game, he spoke to our Matthew Shinetti.
Bo, I was just talking to Tommy Campbell. Addition is pretty easy, and you add 60-41. That's 100 points in 2 weeks. Are you hitting your stride with this team, offense, defense, and special teams?
Man, I mean, I think it looks like it on the scoreboard, but I don't think we feel like that yet. I think we still, we know there's some things we can do to clean it up and be better, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like we are playing well right now as a full team, but I think everybody knows offense, defense, special teams. I think we can all get a little bit better and just continue to try to do that.
3 phases and a full team playing well, but you guys are doing this and you're missing key pieces. Lamar Durant goes down earlier tonight. What does it say about this team that regardless of who's in and who's out, you guys are executing?
I mean, I think everybody in this business, in this game, knows this next man up. If I go down, Buck's got to be ready to be that guy, and that's how we treat it in our locker room. We play for the White Horse, not for the name on the back of the jersey.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, Sean Lemon didn't get a sack.